Imagine a city stretching through the desert. No cars, no pollution, just a single, continuous line housing millions of people. It sounded like science fiction. But right now, in the sands of Saudi Arabia, that vision is becoming reality. Construction has begun on the line, humanity's boldest megacity ever conceived. And if it succeeds, it won't just change Saudi Arabia, it'll transform the future of cities everywhere. But can this radical dream actually survive reality? For months, many believed that Saudi Arabia's ambitious project, The Line, was little more than a futuristic concept or a PR stunt. Renderings of a mirrored 170-kilometer city stretching through the desert seemed too surreal to be true. But in October 2022, that perception shifted dramatically when drone footage from OT Sky revealed undeniable proof that construction had begun. The footage showed dozens of excavators digging wide trenches through the desert. These trenches are believed to form the foundations of the line. The video appeared to be taken in a coastal region, with the Red Sea visible in the background, aligning with Neom's official plans that show the line cutting through mountainous terrain inland from the coast. Estimates based on the footage suggest that excavation may already span 10 to 20 kilometers, indicating significant early progress. Additional infrastructure around the project site, including office buildings, worker camps, and a Neom Experience Center, also point to serious investment in the project's initial phase. While skepticism still lingers, the start of real construction work adds credibility to the project's viability and signals Saudi Arabia's commitment to turning this bold vision into a reality, even if its ultimate form remains uncertain. The line isn't just a large-scale urban project. It represents a radical reimagining of how cities could function in the future. Unveiled by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in July 2022, the line is designed as two parallel skyscrapers, each 500 meters tall, running side by side for 170 kilometers through the desert. That's taller than the Empire State Building and longer than the distance between Los Angeles and San Diego. These mirrored towers are planned to house a fully self-sustaining, car-free city powered entirely by renewable energy, primarily solar and wind. Every resident's essential needs, work, housing, shopping, and recreation would be within a 5-minute walk, and longer trips would be facilitated by a high-speed underground railway. Water for the city is to be provided by a carbon-free desalination plant, further contributing to its zero-carbon footprint. The line is envisioned not just as a megaproject, but as a new model of urban living, compact, efficient, and environmentally conscious. If completed as envisioned, it would be the first city in history built entirely around people instead of vehicles. While the vision borders on science fiction, its boldness is what has captivated both urban futurists and skeptical observers around the world. The sheer scale of the line sets it apart from any construction project humanity has ever attempted. At 170 kilometers long and 500 meters high, it would be equivalent to building a wall of skyscrapers taller than most buildings on Earth, stretching across a distance greater than that between New York City and Philadelphia. Even more staggering is the comparison to the One World Trade Center in New York. Each of the two parallel towers that make up the line would match its height, and collectively, they would span the equivalent of 4,000 such buildings. For context, the One World Trade Center alone took about 8 years to complete. Multiplied by 4,000, even with overlapping construction timelines and modern techniques, the scale becomes almost unimaginable. Saudi Arabia aims to accelerate construction by working on multiple sections simultaneously, but it would still require an enormous workforce, infrastructure, and logistical coordination. By comparison, China's Three Gorges Dam, a project involving 40,000 workers over 17 years, spans just 2.3 kilometers in length. The line dwarfs that by a factor of nearly 75 in length alone. Building such a structure is not just a test of engineering, but one of political will, financial resources, and long-term global commitment. From the moment it was announced, the line has sparked a global mix of awe, fascination, and deep skepticism. Its glossy renderings, sci-fi aesthetics, and radical design captured the imagination of millions, going viral across platforms and making headlines worldwide. On one hand, the project is hailed as a bold leap into the future, a zero-carbon, car-free city designed from the ground up with sustainability, technology, and quality of life in mind. On the other, many urban planners, architects, and economists question whether such a vast and unconventional idea is even remotely feasible. Critics argue that the scale, cost, and complexity are nearly insurmountable. They point to the lack of precedent, the harsh desert environment, and the potential social and environmental disruptions involved in executing such a monumental project. Some compare it to past megaprojects like the Jeddah Tower or Dubai Creek Tower, grand in vision but eventually stalled or left incomplete. There are also concerns about livability, governance, and whether people will actually want to live in a rigid, linear city. Yet, despite the doubts, there's no denying that the line has stirred excitement and curiosity. Whether seen as utopia or fantasy, it's a project the world is watching closely, waiting to see if the vision becomes reality. Despite the initial doubts and speculation, visible progress on the line is now undeniable. Drone footage released in October 2022 by OT Sky revealed a wide expanse of construction activity in the desert, showing dozens of excavators actively digging a deep, continuous trench, likely the foundation for the mirrored skyscrapers. The footage, believed to be captured near the Red Sea coast, aligns with the official plans published by Neom, the broader megacity development under which the line falls. Estimates based on the terrain suggest that the excavation could already stretch 10 to 20 kilometers inland, a significant distance that proves the project is moving beyond the conceptual stage. In addition to the trench, surrounding infrastructure is rapidly developing. Satellite imagery and updates from the Neom website show a growing network of roads, construction offices, worker camps, and even a Neom-branded community area complete with recreational facilities like football fields and swimming pools. A dedicated Neom Experience Center has also been established, likely intended to inform visitors and investors about the project's vision and ongoing development. Though the ultimate outcome remains uncertain, this level of early physical development demonstrates serious commitment and suggests that Saudi Arabia is putting substantial resources into making the line more than just a futuristic dream. As construction progresses, experts and observers suggest that the line could unfold in one of three main directions. The first scenario is failure, similar to other ambitious megaprojects like the Jeddah Tower or Dubai Creek Tower, where initial hype gave way to delays and eventual stagnation. Despite striking renderings and lofty goals, both projects became symbols of unrealized ambition, and skeptics believe the line might meet the same fate, especially given its scale and complexity. The second outcome is full realization. Saudi Arabia follows through on its promises and constructs the line exactly as planned. This would mean completing two parallel skyscrapers, each 500 meters tall and 170 kilometers long, housing millions of people in a vertically integrated, zero-carbon city. While technically possible with vast investment and time, this outcome is considered unlikely due to logistical and economic challenges. The third and most realistic scenario is a scaled-down version. Rather than building the full 170 kilometers at once, Saudi Arabia could adopt a modular approach, constructing segments gradually based on demand. The towers could also be shortened to reduce complexity and cost, while still delivering the core features: car-free living, renewable energy, and high-tech urban design. This phase strategy would make the project more manageable and adaptable over time. Given the monumental scope of the line, a full-scale realization as initially envisioned seems increasingly improbable. However, a more realistic and flexible compromise could still make the project groundbreaking. Instead of building the entire 170-kilometer stretch of 500-meter-high mirrored towers all at once, Saudi Arabia may opt for a phased, modular construction approach. Since the city is designed in 5-minute walkable segments, it's structurally suited to being built bit by bit, allowing time to gauge public interest, adapt to challenges, and adjust plans based on real-world conditions. A key part of this compromise could involve reducing the overall height of the towers. Even if they were built at half the proposed height, the core principles, vertical living, walkability, sustainability, and car-free infrastructure, could still be fully implemented. This scaled-down version would not only be more achievable financially and logistically, but it would also significantly shorten construction timelines and reduce environmental and engineering hurdles. By prioritizing functionality over grandeur, the line could still become a pioneering city, one that redefines urban planning without needing to fully meet its original sci-fi scale. This middle path allows Saudi Arabia to demonstrate innovation and leadership while staying grounded in practical, buildable realities. The line represents more than just a mega project. It's a bold experiment in rethinking how cities are designed and lived in. Unlike most modern cities that have evolved around cars and sprawling infrastructure, the line is being built entirely from scratch, offering a rare opportunity to reshape urban life with 21st century priorities at the forefront: sustainability, walkability, and technological integration. If successful, it could serve as a prototype for future cities around the world, grappling with overpopulation, pollution, and inefficient transit systems. What makes the line unique is its commitment to eliminating cars altogether. Everything residents need: homes, workplaces, parks, schools, shops, will be within a 5-minute walk, radically reducing reliance on automobiles and cutting emissions. For longer journeys, an ultra-fast underground rail system is planned to connect the entire 170-kilometer stretch in just 20 minutes. This kind of seamless, carbon-free transit infrastructure is almost unheard of at city scale. Globally, many cities are trying to reduce car usage, but they're constrained by decades of car-centric planning. The line has no such legacy. It's a blank slate. That gives it the rare chance to become the world's first truly car-free metropolis, offering invaluable lessons for future urban design across the globe. As the line gains momentum, expert opinions remain sharply divided. Some urban planners and project insiders express cautious optimism, impressed by the ambition and the resources being committed. Antoni Vives, Chief Urban Planning Officer at Neom, acknowledged the project's challenges, but emphasized the team's steady progress, calling it a complex, bold, and highly ambitious undertaking. From this perspective, the line isn't just a dream. It's a strategic, high-stakes move to position Saudi Arabia as a global leader in innovation and sustainability. However, many experts outside the project are far more skeptical. Critics point to the logistical and environmental difficulties of building such an enormous linear city in the middle of a harsh desert. Marshall Brown, a professor of architecture at Princeton, questioned the feasibility of achieving the clean, minimalist aesthetic shown in renderings, citing the many real-world physical and environmental phenomena that would complicate such a design. Others have raised concerns about the social dynamics of a rigid, linear urban layout, as well as the political and economic risks of investing trillions in a single, untested concept. Ultimately, while the line inspires excitement in some circles, it also raises red flags in others, highlighting a deep divide between visionary ambition and practical execution. Despite the undeniable progress and global attention, the future of the line remains uncertain. With construction underway and billions already invested, the project is clearly more than just a concept. Yet, questions about its long-term viability continue to loom large. Can Saudi Arabia sustain the massive financial, logistical, and human resources required to see even a scaled version through to completion? Will people actually want to live in such a radically different urban environment, especially one that challenges deeply rooted norms about space, privacy, and transportation? There's also the issue of time. The goal is to have the first residents move in by 2030, but considering the project's scope, that timeline is viewed by many as overly optimistic. Even if portions of the line are built and functional by then, achieving the full 170-kilometer vision could take decades, if not longer. Moreover, geopolitical, environmental, and technological uncertainties could all influence the project's fate. It could become a symbol of human innovation and a blueprint for future cities, or it might end up as a partially completed reminder of overambition. For now, the line straddles the line between daring possibility and speculative risk, its outcomes still hanging in the balance.